Hi everybody, this is Algebra 2, Lesson 59, and in this lesson we're going to cover experimental data, simultaneous equations with fractions and decimals, and rectangular form to polar form. So kind of a long lesson because we're covering a bunch of different stuff here. Alright, our first thing that we're covering is experimental data. The data graph below came from an experiment involving bronze and copper. The shading around the points indicates that due to potential errors in measurement, the data might not be exact. The line represented by the data points has been estimated. Write an equation of this line which gives bronze as a function of copper. Okay, so we know that our formula for a line is y equals mx plus b. The first thing we can substitute is our x and y. We know our y tells our up and down, so that's going to be b. And our x tells our cross value right here. So that's going to be our copper. Okay. M is going to be our slope. And our slope is our rise over our run. Okay, so if we look at this, they've already drawn a little line for us. They've got right there. We draw a triangle here. So for our rise, that's how far we went up and down. We went from there to there, from 5, this 0.5 right here, up to 0.40. So that's 35. And our run, we went from 5 to 15, so that's 10. So 35 divided by 10 would be 3.5. Okay, so now we have B equals 3.5 C plus B. Now we have to figure out B, which is our y-intercept, and we can't see where that is. That's down here somewhere. Down, down, down. Down there somewhere. Okay, so we got to figure out what that is. So we're going to replace our B and our C with one of these points that is represented on this line. And I'm going to use right here, and this is 0.40. Wait, no. Our x value comes first, so that would be our copper would come first. Our cross, so that would be 15 and 40. Okay, so our C is 15 and our B is 40. So it's going to be 40 equals 3.5 times our copper, which is 15, plus B. So we need 3.5 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. 3 times 5 is 15, 16, 17. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 3 is 3. Add them up. 12, 3, 4, 5, 52.5. So 40 equals 52.5 plus B. Now we're going to subtract 52.5 on both sides. And we're going to get B equals negative 12.5. So our equation is going to be B equals M, we're just going to use our formula. So y equals mx plus b. Our y value is our B for bronze. Our M is 3.5. Our x value would be C for copper. And then our B value is minus 12.5. And that's the answer to that one. All right, let's try another one of those. Okay, the data graph below came from an experiment that involved nitrogen and sulfur. Write an equation that expresses nitrogen as a function of sulfur. Okay, so we got our y equals mx plus b. Our y value is going to be what's going up and down, right? And that's nitrogen. So that'll be N. Our x value is what's going across, so that's going to be our S for sulfur, plus B. Now we got to find our slope. So our rise, they said this was about 7.4 right there. And then this is at 1, so that's going to be 6.4 on our rise. And then our run, how far did we go over? We went from 10 to 45, so we went 35 units. So we're going to do 6.4 divided by 35. And that is 0.18. So n equals 0.18 s plus b. Now we got to find our b value. So we're going to pick a number in here that we're going to use. Let's do this one right here. So that's 10 is our s value. And then how far did we go up? We went 1. So that would be our n value. So our n is 1 equals 0.18 times 10 plus b. Now we're going to solve for b. So we're going to say 1 equals 1.8 plus b. Subtract 1.8. And that would be negative 0.8. All right, so now we can write our equation because we know what b equals. And this is what our m equals right there. So that was 0.18. All right, so our y, so now we're using that. Our y is n equals, our m is 0.18, so that's our slope. Our x value is s for sulfur. And then our b is our y-intercept, which would be minus 0.8. And there's that one. Now, the hard part about these is estimating where this line is crossing. So, like that's 7.4. So these aren't always going to come out exact. As long as you have something close, I'm okay with that. All right, next part of the lesson is about simultaneous equations with fractions and decimals. So these are pretty easy. I'm just going to convert this. So I'm going to say 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to multiply everything in here times 10. This would cancel, and I've got 5x. And then that would cancel, and I've got 2 times 3 would be 6y. And those would cancel, and I would get 2 times 2 is 4 minus 4 equals negative 4. There we go. This one I'm going to multiply. I'm going to move my decimal 2 times. So I'm going to multiply times 100. And I'm going to get 6x minus, move that one twice. I would have 20y equals, move this one twice, 104. All right, now I can use elimination to solve this. So I'm going to multiply this one times negative 6 and this one times 5. So negative 6 times 5 will be negative 30. And 6 times 6 is 36 minus 36. So y equals 6 times 4 is 24. And then this one I'm going to multiply times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. And then 5 times 20, 5 times 2 is 10, that would be 100, negative 100. Y equals 104 times 5. Let's see, 100 times 5 will be 500. 4 times 5 will be 20. There we go. All right, then I'm just going to add these up. Those cancel. Whoops, those were my x's. They canceled. And then I'm going to have negative 136. So y equals 544. Now divide by negative 136. Actually, I'm going to calculate that. 544 divided by 136 4 times. So my y equals 4. That'll be negative 4. All right, so up here I've got y equals negative 4. And then I just plug that into one of these. So I'm going to say 5x plus 6y, which would be negative 4, equals negative 4. And then 5x, 6 times 4 is 24, equals negative 4. And then we're going to add 20. And, add 24. There we go. Right? Yes. So that would be 5x equals 20. And then divide by 5. And 5 times 4 is 20. Positive 4. Alright, so that means that my answer, x equals positive 4. And so my answer is x value is 4, y value is negative 4. And you just put it in parentheses like that with your x and your y. Alright, pretty easy. Just kind of combining some things we already know how to do. Alright, next part is to convert rectangular form to polar form. Alright, so here's my rectangular form. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little bitty xy axis over here, and I'm going negative 5 right, so that means I go backwards 5, and then negative up 3, so down 3. So about there, okay? And I'm going to draw a triangle for that. And this part is 5, and that part's 3. Alright, so I got to find out what this angle right here is, and my angle theta. And I could use my trig functions for that. So, TOA. And if I look at angle theta, I can see that this one's the opposite and that one's the adjacent. Alright, so I can use TOA right here, tangent, because it is opposite and adjacent. So the tan of angle theta equals my opposite, which is 3, over my adjacent, which is 5. So I'm just going to go over to my calculator, and I'm going to say 3 divided by 5 is 0.6. So my tangent of angle theta equals 0.6. Okay, and then I'm going to need to do, I'm going to hit second right there, and I'm going to say tan negative 1, or it might say inverse tan. And that comes out to about 31 degrees. We're going to round that up to 31 degrees. Okay, so I've got that part. Now I need to know how far it is from here to here, what the length of this hypotenuse is. And I could use sine or cosine to find that, or I could use Pythagorean theorem. I think I'll do that. So 3 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. And that would be 9 plus 25 equals c squared. And that would be 34 equals c squared. And so then I just need the square root of 34. And you can leave it like that. You don't even have to. That is the right answer, square root of 34. Now we just need our angle. But our angle is not 31 because we have to start here and go all the way around. So we need this straight line plus 31. So that's 180 plus 31. 8, 9, 10, 11, 211. And there is our polar form from that rectangular coordinate. And so that's the answer. Not too hard, just the opposite kind of what we've been doing. Alright, so work those practice problems and then I'll come back and work them for you. Alright, so on A. Now, this is where it gets tricky because we have to try to figure out what our slope is here. So first we know that we've got y equals mx plus b. And our y value is our up and down. So that's going to be n for nitrogen. So we can replace that with n equals m. And then our x value is what goes back and forth, and that'll be f for fluorine plus b. Now I got to figure out our slope. I am going to say that this crosses somewhere. What about right there? No, that looks too hard. Let's see. We want it to cross somewhere. Let's see. Somewhere where it's actually touching a line. Let's go here. So this would be about point. That's going to be our 32 on our x value. And then our y value, let's see, that's 200. That would be 250. So probably 220. Something like that. All right, and then let's say that it crossed right here. Actually, this one's a little closer, so let's go with right there. So that would be 33. And then this would be, let's say 250, probably 290. We're going to guess 290. Okay, so that means our triangle is right here. For this, we went 1 for x value. So that is our run is 1. Our rise is 220 to 290. That would be 70. So about 70. Say that's more like 210. And like I said, these are not going to come out exactly even, so that would be about 80. So we're going to say our m value equals 80. 80 divided by 1 is just 80. So then we can do n equals 80 f plus b. Now I'll just pick one of these points. We'll go with this one. So our n value is our y. That's our n value right there. And that's our f value. There's fluorine going this way. So it's 33 for fluorine. So our n value is 290 equals 80 times 33 plus b. And so we're going to do 80 times 33. Oops, should have done that the other way. 33 times 80. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24, 25, 26. Okay, so we would say 290 equals 2,640 plus b, and then we're going to subtract that. $2,350. That'll be negative. So now we can write our equation, which will be n equals 80f minus 2,350. Now that is not the answer they have in the book, and it's probably not what your answer looks like. The one in the book says n equals 83.33f minus 2466.56. Okay, mine's close to that. It's not the same. So as long as you get something close, I'm okay with that, because their estimation for this point was something different than what I estimated for that point. Unless they tell you exactly what those points are, or unless one of these points is going exactly across, hitting somewhere right on it, you're not going to get the exact same answer, and that's okay. All right, B. First, I'm going to 3 times 7, multiply this times 21. 3 times 7, so that would be 7x plus, that would be 3 times 2 is 6y. And this would be 3 times 3 is 9. This one I'm going to multiply times 100, so I'm going to have x minus 60y equals 303. I think I'm just going to move this one around. So I'm going to change that to x equals 60y plus 303. So I just did plus 60y and plus 60y. And then I'm just going to use substitution for this one. So I'm going to sub this value in for x into that equation. So I'm going to say 7x, which is 60y plus 303 equals, no, not equals yet. Okay, plus 6y equals negative 9. Then I'm going to rainbow this. 6 times 7 is 42. And right there, 3 times 7 is 1 plus 6y equals negative 9. And then I'm going to put my y's together. So 426y plus 2121 equals negative 9. Now I need to subtract. And I get 426y equals negative 2130. Now I'm going to divide by 426. Divide by 426. Okay, 2130 divided by 426. Alright, so, and that's negative. So y equals negative 5. Now I'm just going to plug my negative 5 into one of these equations. 7x plus 6y, which is negative 5, equals negative 9. 7x equals 6 times 5, not equals, minus 6 times 5 is 30, equals negative 9, plus 30, plus 30, okay, and that would be 7x equals 21, divide by 7, and I get x equals 3. So my answer should be 3, negative 5. Here's the answer to that one. Alright, I think we've got one more. We got to convert this to polar form. Not too hard. We're going to draw our little BD coordinate plane. We're going backwards 3, down 5. So about there. Draw our triangle. That's a 3. That's a 5. We got to figure out what angle theta right here is. So we're going to use tangent. Tan of angle theta equals, our opposite is over here, and our adjacent is up here, and it's TOA. So our opposite goes on top, which is 5, and our adjacent is 3. Okay, so we're going to say 5 divided by 3. .666. Did I do that right? Alright, so the tan of angle theta equals 1.6. Alright, and then I'm going to need to find out what the tangent of that is. And it's about 59 degrees. Okay, so we're going to say 59 degrees. Let's see, we could say 59.04. Here we go. So 59.04 degrees. And then we got to figure out how long it is from there to there. So we're going to say 5 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. And then that's 25 plus 9 equals c squared. That'll be 34 equals c squared. So it will be square root of 34. Alright, so our answer is going to be square root of 34 times our angle. And our angle is not 59.4 because we still have this 180 we have to add to it. So 59.04 plus 180. 8 and 5 is 13. 239.04. And that is the answer right from the textbook right there. Okay, so always round that to 2 decimal places right there. All right, so there's the answer to C. Okay, hope that made sense to everybody, and thanks for watching. Bye.